Hey everybody, hope you're all well as always, and welcome to another video and welcome to another year. So I really hope everyone had an amazing New Year's and Christmas, and that it's been a wild one last year, but it's good to be into a fresh year and a fresh mind. But I'm stoked that's all done and we can get back into car stuff. And it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I took 2 weeks off over the break just to sort of recoup and so I can get a bit more motivation. But yeah, I'm keen as hell to get this patrol on the road, and as I'm in it at the moment. But yeah, we'll get into some of the gremlins we got to tackle to try and get this thing back on the road. It's pretty much ready to go, but I've just got a little wiring issue. Not really a little wiring issue, it's actually quite annoying. So I don't want to drive the car on the road and then leaves me stranded. So we're going to fix that first. And then as soon as that's fixed, we can literally take it to go get registered. So that's the plan. There's always little things like that that hold you up, but that's part of having a project car. So this is the $5,000 budget Patrol, or cost me $5 in the first place. And it owes me just a little bit more than that now with the exhauster system I brought for it and fixing adapter plates and stuff like that. But this is the budget Patrol. So if there are any new viewers, this is my 99 LS Patrol that I picked up off a mate. It was non-running, non-driving, got it for $5,000. It is engineered, and yeah, this is how she looks now. It's quite stock at the moment because I'm about to go through the pits to get it roadworthy, and obviously we need to fix some more issues on her because she is having a little bit of a hiccup. So a lot of you may remember when it used to, like when I used to try and start it a few months ago, it used to cough and backfire and stuff. That's completely gone because that was a cam angle sensor issue. So it was a wire that was broken, easy fix. And then after a while, sometimes I take it for a bit of a drive and it would cut out, leave me stranded, and I couldn't start it again. Now I'm pretty sure that was the gas, because this is all the gas wiring here, which I still gotta pull through the firewall, but this is all going. So it's gonna make the engine bay look a little bit neater. But right now the car actually runs phenomenally. It runs great. The only problem we're having right now is when we jolt the car, when we buck it, when we hit a speed hump or something, it tends to just cut out for 1 or 2 seconds. You sort of see the rev tacho just start going nuts. I'll try and get it on camera shortly. We'll go around the block and see if it does it. Also, the longer it runs, the longer the car runs, the worse it gets. Sometimes it'll be idling in the driveway and all of a sudden the revs will just just start going nuts. And sometimes it'll just die and I'll start it up again and it'll start up. It's weird. It's got an electrical issue, so I'm pretty certain it's got a short. It's definitely got a short somewhere. The fun part is we're going to have to trace that short. Now if we head into the passenger footwell, a lot of you may remember the fuse box. Oh, I love that sound. A lot of you may remember this little fuse block or fuse box or whatever you want to call it. Over time, I've noticed when the car is running, this gets very, very hot. The only ones that get hot are these 3 with the fuses replaced. A lot of you remember when I actually bought this car, this fuse block had no fuses in it, so that's why the car wasn't starting. And I asked the old owner why all the fuses were taken out. He said he doesn't know. It was at his mate's yard, so they might have taken them out. He can't remember. They're not actually labelled what amperage or what fuse is in there. So I just started with 10s, and then I kept blowing these ones. So I thought I'll put a slightly larger fuse in there. So I went 15, then I went to 20, and I haven't blown 20. But these get very hot. Now they could be getting hot because they're too big, but as soon as you put a 10 amp in there again, it pops. This one right here, which I've marked with the white, that is our starter motor, this one here. And this one so this one here, this middle one here, that's our fuel pump. I don't know what this middle one does, but if you have a look, you can see the wire is burnt on the bottom here, right where my finger is. Now, that's an indication that we have a short somewhere. The good thing is, if you look back at the video, when I first got this car, you'll see that wire is still burnt. So I think it's been an ongoing issue since even before I've owned the vehicle. Up inside here is the ECU. So I'm gonna pull all that out. So glove box gonna come out, ECU, and we're gonna try and trace the wires and find out why we are shorting. Fantastic. Like I said, the car runs phenomenally still. Exhaust is all fixed, so it doesn't sound like a monster truck anymore, which was pretty cool. Another suspicion I may have is there is some melted O2 wiring down the bottom here, and I was talking to the guy that built it. His name's Jay. He actually built this in 2012. He built this car, engineered it, did it all himself, did a really good job. He did say the O2 wires actually have ignition power running through some of those wires. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to disconnect the O2 sensors and start the car and see if it changes anything. If it doesn't, we can rule that out, because the wires must have hit the exhaust at one point in time, and then they've shorted or they've melted, sorry, and we don't want that. Another main thing to check is these straps. So this car is really reliant on having power cables connected. So if the starter one isn't connected, the big starter cable isn't connected, ECU won't turn on. If this one here isn't connected, ECU won't run. So I had to make sure that all these battery terminals are actually on there properly, so they're not jiggling around. Another thing I thought it might have been is maybe low fuel. So every time we've hit a bump or jolted the car, it might have starved the swirl pot. Could be another issue, but I've got enough fuel in there at the moment. So I'm gonna just go over everything that we just said in the video. So we'll start maybe with our straps, our earths, our everything that's on the block. So you can see that one there. Oh, where is he? That one there. So we'll make sure all of them are not loose and jiggling around. Next thing we'll do is we'll go in that fuse box, take that ECU out. Yeah, we'll just try and trace things. And if we don't get anywhere by the end of this episode, I may have to call somebody. Someone I know that's good with auto elect. Wiring is probably my least favorite thing to do in cars, as well as my least specialty, I should say. So I'm not very good with it, but I do sort of know roughly what to do, because I really want to get this thing on the road. I might even just send it off somewhere and have a once over, or pull the entire wiring loom out. That could be another option, and start from scratch. If there's anyone on here that's really good with wires and Alice conversions, hit me up. But yeah, we'll give her a kick in the guts, bring her to life. She's been sitting for a few days, so our fans. Sounding really good at the moment. It's good to have a quiet car again. So I think what I might even do is take it around the block and see if it does it on camera, see if it does that little cutout, and show you guys what's going on with it. There it goes. And she's dead. So yeah, I don't know if it's actually ran out of fuel, to be honest. It's low, but I reckon we're gonna put some fuel. I've got 20 litres of fuel in the jerry can, so that might have even been another reason, but I'm stuck on the street. Oh, this would not have happened if I brought a Land Cruiser. Cool, so we whacked about 10 litres in there. And it's running for now. I'm actually too scared to take it around the block now. Oh, my headlight fell out. Did you just run out of fuel? Please tell me. Okay, I'm gonna try and move it and see what happens. Oh God. Please don't die on me again. There's 10 litres of fuel in it now. Oh God. Oh, what is that noise? Go back in the driveway, please, where you belong. Okay, we're making it very slowly. Don't die. Okay. All right. I think it ran out of fuel just then. I think it ran out of fuel. Sounds good. Okay. That could have been an issue, but we're still gonna go over everything in the wiring. It's running now. I really got to stop running this thing out of fuel. I gotta take it to a servo and put like 50 litres in it. Well, it's running now. Fans on. Okay, so it ran out of fuel. I'm honestly too afraid to take it around the block now because I think it's gonna conk out on me. I can't be bothered getting the missus to tow me out. It's very embarrassing. So that could be a potential reason on why we're cutting out a lot. Could have been low on fuel. So what I'm gonna do, I've got a 20 litre jerry can over there. I might fill that up and put another 20 litres in. I'll put 15 in I think 10 or 15, I can't remember. If imagine it was just fuel. I don't think it is. I'm gonna see if that fuse block is hot. I don't even have a temperature gauge to show you guys, but I'm just gonna feel it by hand. Oh, and see how it feels. It is warm, but not hot. I'm gonna pull all this out and have a double look over everything and just double check, trace some wires, and yeah, let's just do that. God. All right, so I'll whack this glove box out, start taking some nuts out, and then we'll, hello mate, what's going on? Who the fuck is this? So I'll start taking that out and having some fun. That one there, yes, I see you. Now it's just that latch and she's out. All right, so now it's sort of looking like when I first got the car. A few OGs will remember how this footwell looked. So we have fellow LS computer. We have this like little relay board thing, and then we got our fuse block. So what I've done is I've gone from our burnt buoy, which is somewhere here, right there. And you can see I've just dotted the wire where that burny buoy goes to. So if we follow the wire, you can see the dot, the white dot. It's just a paint pen, so I can mark the wire, another dot in there, and we follow it all the way into, that's him there. So that's into the fuse block, and then we see what comes out of the fuse block, and we have another burny boy. So something's obviously gone wrong here. Now this could be just a wire for the, like, it doesn't look like it's anything computer like. It might be just like the thermo fans or something. So I'm gonna try and trace this big, because that is a pretty big fat power wire, which is a bit concerning. So I'm going to trace that and see if we can find where this goes. So wish me luck, because yeah, I don't know where the hell it goes. Okay guys, so it's like 2 days later since I filmed the last clip. Just got really busy over the weekend, and we're back working on the GU. I know this episode's been a bit boring, just trying to trace wires and stuff. So I'll put in a clip here that one of the old owners sent me of this thing going up a hill, and it actually sounds mental. So you sort of hear it when it was in action back in the day, and yeah, I'll put in a clip right now. Sounds pretty good, eh? It gives me motivation, I'll tell you that. So, what have we done so far off camera? So as you can see, everything's sort of out of here. So in here, I've just been sort of doing some trialing and some diagnosing. I haven't really found anything out of the ordinary. I've sort of labeled now. So the P here, on here is the fuel pump. I found out what that one is. We've got the S here, really poorly drawn S for the starter. And then here it says timer. So I found out that these fuses here, these two are for the fans. So one is actually for the fan switch, and then this one here, this is the fuse that was actually burnt. That's for the timer. So obviously when the car gets to temperature, I think it's 90 degrees, the fan will turn on automatically. So that's for that. And why it's burnt out, I don't know. So, but yeah, I put a 15 amp in there thinking that maybe the amperage was too high, and it popped it instantly. So we know that those are 20s, or that the 20s are holding up. It could be 30s, but who knows. Yeah, so far that's been all good. I've had the car running for a while. It's been fine. I did top up another 20 litres of fuel, so it's got about 40 litres of fuel in it now. And it's actually been running really well. I took it for a bus before. It sort of did a slight cutout, but nowhere near what it used to do. It didn't just die. It actually just had a little hesitation. So that could even be, maybe it is a new fuel pump. So other than that, yeah. So I might even just take it for a bust around the block, put the GoPro on the back and see. Because we actually haven't had the GoPro on the back to hear the exhaust note, because every time I've had the GoPro on the back, the exhaust has actually been coming out of the front, the headers here, because of the leak. So we haven't gotten a good exhaust clip on this. So I actually want to put the GoPro on the back here and just try and actually see how it sounds coming out the back here. I've actually had a good look over the wiring in here, especially that runs at the back of the engine, because when you do the clutch in this, they got to tilt the engine back, and the loom runs behind. You see this loom here? It actually runs behind the motor, behind that left cylinder head, the passenger side cylinder head. So hopefully, I was making sure nothing had been crushed in that terms of wiring. So I was hoping when we gunned it, no wiring sort of shorted out. I've checked all this power wiring here just to make sure nothing is touching each other. That's another thing you got to watch out for. And yeah, so one thing I've noticed already is with the car running, you blip the throttle, it's so responsive now. It's just instantly. So before it sort of hesitated to get up in the RPM, now it's just instant. So that's sort of, yeah, she's running a lot better. So all this diagnosing stuff is really tedious, but like, you got to do it, because at the end of the day, I want to be driving this thing everywhere, and I don't want it leaving me stranded. So little things like this is sort of the annoying parts of having a project car, especially when it comes to wiring stuff. It could not even be wiring, it could be something to do with the fueling. So I am going to get a new fuel pump for it. That's one thing I want to do, because I've always been a bit skeptical, because sometimes you turn the key on and sometimes the pump just doesn't sound right, and sometimes it sounds fine. So a pump could be on its way out. That might be why it just coughs a little bit. And we do have new injectors on here, so we know that the injectors are good. And also I might even change the fuel filter, because who knows when that's been done. Owning the amount of cars that I've had in my life, this is the only car that's ever broken down on me on the street. And that goes to say something, because I do own a lot of Nissans. So enough of me rambling, and let's get into the next part. Alright guys, so we made it back from our little test drive, and oh god, it actually drives so fucking nice now. Like, it's the best it's ever driven since I got the thing. And in the clip you notice it sort of started up in the RPM on the second time I went around the block, and I think that's got to do with that pump. I'm still a bit, you know, hesitant on that pump. It's obviously, if it does it with RPM, it's obviously probably fuel. Man, like, it drove amazing, and like, yeah, it got up temperature nicely, because what it used to do when it got a little bit warm, it'd just start like running like shit, and then it would start, you know, flopping everywhere, the RPM gauge, and then it would eventually die. And I still think that it ran out of fuel. Now, I didn't know if the fuel gauge worked on this thing, and it actually doesn't, but I realized that because we have the belly tank, it's actually the sub-tank gauge. So it's working, because the sub-tank gauge is actually reading. The actual main tank gauge doesn't work, but when we get a rear main tank, we'll make that work. But yeah, so we have fuel now, and I think the whole time this thing has just been starving of fuel, because I've never seen that gauge move off E. So that's good, and I am actually really happy with that. It actually drives and runs amazing. It's such, I've never driven an LS Patrol properly, or any other Patrol sort of with this setup, and one of the smoothest Patrols I've ever driven, 100%. It's so comfortable, and yeah, I don't know if it's a suspension setup too, but it's just really comfortable to drive. So smooth, even just idling, it's just, oh, just purrs away. Fantastic, I love it. Because when I had the RD28, the thing used to just vibrate, and it was like a tractor. As cool as the RD was, it was like a tractor. Yeah, I hope it sounded good on camera as well, because in the cabin it's very quiet. I know usually I couldn't hear anything in the cabin, because the exhaust leak was literally right down there. And yeah, so I think next thing I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna tidy all that loom back up again, and put the glove box back in. Pretty cool. Oh yum, put very boring stuff, and yeah, the ECU goes up in there, and that little hole there, and then I'll tuck everything up, and then put the little fuse block there as well. Oh, that's great too. Usually what used to happen before was this little fuse block here got really hot. It is actually cold still. I wish I had a little temperature thing to show you, little gauge thing to show you the temperature, but it's actually stone cold, and had the fans on the whole time too. That's awesome. That's so cool. Good to know things are happening. I did go over a little bit of wiring, so hopefully maybe something that was in there might have bugged up. I don't know. So I am going to put all the airbox back in now. And, I took it all out just to get to the wiring at the back here, just to make sure that was all cool. Put all that back in. And then what else are we going to do? I think that's pretty much it. My power steering wasn't working at one stage, and I realised the line down here kinked. So that's another thing. Project cars for you. I'm just, you can probably tell in my voice, I'm really excited that it's running awesome now. Little baby steps to get it registered. So what I have left is front sway bar. I'm just waiting on the brackets. So on the frame rail here, there's this little square of dirt here where there's 4 bolts. There'll be brackets that go in here, and then your sway bar bolts to that, and it'll go around and bolt the underneath of the diff assembly. So I've got to wait for those, either getting them from a mate or my old car, my old white GU, some of you may remember. I might be getting the ones off that. We need a plastic snorkel. Obviously stainless snorkels are not roadworthy, so I'll be getting a plastic snorkel just to pass road inspection. And obviously they're a bit fatter at the bottom, so we'll cover this hole, and then all this will sort of, you know, I'm not even going to connect it up. It's just all going to just look just for looks. What else is there? So yeah, I reckon next episode we'll just paint all the bar work up, make it look nice, do a little transformation video, spice it up, put some tyres on it, clean the car, and make it look like, you know, do that. You know, the birds have already shut on it, so they know what kind of car it is. But yeah, oh, I'm bloody excited. Like, look at her, she's glimmering in the sunlight, waiting to get covered in mud. We still have to do that front diff and transfer case, which is going to be in the future, but it drives now. It's fantastic. So I'm probably going to daily it for a bit when it's registered, and then one weekend I'll get the boys around, and we'll make a weekend of it and whack another transfer case in it. And the front diff, the front diff's going to be a pain in the ass because it's got a locker in it. Oh sorry, actually no, we're going to do the rear diff. We're going to do the rear diff. It's been through, I think, 6 or 7 diffs, the old owner said, in the back, because it had four sixes. It's got a 411 in the back now, and it's got still the factory RD 46 in the front. So we have to attend to that. So yeah, we're going to have to attend to that. Also, another thing I've got to do is the exhaust back there. We've done the repairs. I've got to paint all that up in exhaust black, which I brought. So yeah, I reckon next episode we'll do that and just pretty up the car. I'm going to pressure wash under here a bit better, and I might even splice a bit of paint up the back here, some underbody coat. We'll see. I'm going to be putting the main tank back in here, so before we put the main tank back in, we will coat all the back here just so it's nice and ready for the next 50 years. This thing's probably going to last. Nah, we'll go forever. She's GU. I'm bloody excited with this thing because yeah, this is the next project to get on the road before we start on the RX-7, and yeah, we're getting close. So woohoo! It's good to see my old lift back in this thing and my old wheels and tires. Just before I end this video, in the next couple of videos, I actually want to do a build and cost breakdown, of course, for you guys. Anyone out there wanting to do their own LS Patrol conversion, or find one like this and get really lucky and find a cheap one and do it up. I'll do a little breakdown of how much it owes me once it's finished and registered. That way we can get a little bit of a rough estimate of how much a budget LS Patrol, and how much fun you can have in a budget LS converted Nissan Patrol. So I probably will end the episode here. I know it's been a little bit of a boring one. I do apologize. It is the first video of the year, and I just really wanted to go over it and make sure it runs amazing. And yeah, it seems to be running fantastic. So hopefully it doesn't give me any more grief. Before we get it registered, I will change that fuel pump. Don't worry, I will do that. I do have to change those idler pulleys. They are a bit squeaky. Probably hear them in the sound clip, but other than that, I really hope you did enjoy the video, and I really hope everyone has a wonderful new year. It's going to be an exciting one for me, and an exciting one hopefully for you guys as well. Anyone that stuck around through my little break, thankful for you guys hanging around and watching the progress of my LS Patrol revival. Not so much a build, more of a revival and a revamp. Thank you so much for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. The sun is cooking me right now. Like the video if you can. We'll see you in the next video, and hopefully she'll look a bit nicer in the next video. So take care everybody, and we'll see you later.